everybody. Welcome to Strong Female Lead, or I guess welcome to all of our new listeners. We see you popping up all over the globe. Happy to have you, and welcome back to all of our fellow SFL members of the Church of SFL Latter-days listeners.
The Latter Days.
The Latter Days. My name is Tessa.
And I'm Tricia.
And here on SFL, we talk about movies and TV and the representation of women therein. So we like to ask the question, has Hollywood been getting it right when deciding who is and who is not a strong female lead? So we're going to look at the roles of of women in TV and movies in order to create social dialogues about what's happening on the silver screen. And this week we've got a gem for you. It was one of my picks and I'm so excited. It's just the perfect combination of all that is tropey and campy about a dance movie, all wrapped up into one cute little package. And that movie is Step Up from 2006.
Yeah.
It's so like, oh man, 2006 was a long time ago. That was when I graduated from high school.
Oh.
I was like right here. I was like in the thick of this. This was my experience. I was right there with Channing, right there with Jenna. We were all doing this together. And I think that's why, nostalgia-wise, like this is just like peak high school. Like this was my jam. Like this is how there's just so many good things about this that is like both hilarious and also very cringy. A lot of stereotypes and cringy moments that you just have to go through as a person. I think you just have to experience some of this on the screen, hopefully not in your real life, but but Tricia, what were your thoughts on Step Up? Had you seen it before? Is this your first viewing?
First viewing, and I don't know why I insist on calling it Step It Up, but whenever I'm Googling it, whenever I'm looking it up on Prime Video, it is always Step It Up.
It's a very fancier way to say it. You're like very classy.
Just, yeah, like Step It Up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's use our words.
Yeah.
So there's that. Honestly, it was all those things that you just said, but it's like that's not why I didn't like it. Like, it's a time capsule. Yeah. And that's just what it is. I am not into Jenna and Channing. And I don't know why, but just
on the screen,
yeah.
Like chemistry?
Them on the screen, I don't have a really good reason for it. They're both clearly very sexy and hot, but like there's something about them that like it doesn't stick out to me as very interesting. But then, like the thing is I can say that, and if I saw either of them in person, I'd probably be like, whoa, like those people are, do you know what I mean? Like people looking,
like,
they look that
normally good looking, like I've seen good looking people and then there's you walking around.
And if they look that good on screen, then like imagine what they look like. Oh, well, I just kind of ignored his clothes and stuff. I don't know. Like they tried to cover him up like big time. I thought like, but his face, like you could tell.
Yeah.
It's like She's All That. They throw glasses on someone. So you just throw clothes on him that are like baggy and we're supposed to know that like this guy doesn't have a body.
Yeah. He doesn't know that he's good looking. Trust that.
Like, I mean, he has no idea. We're not even going to like fold the brim of his hat. Mm-hmm. Like he doesn't, we're not even gonna like crunch that in. He throws the stuff on. He has no idea.
Yeah. I like you pointing that out, and I'm like, when women want to become like ugly themselves up, when actresses do that, they go for it. Like I'm thinking of Charlize Theron, prosthetics, like they go for it. And for men, it's just like, oh well, let's just put them in a size like extra large, medium. Nobody can tell. Like I was like,
Like he's supposed to look like he's struggling because his teeth are perfect, his face is perfect. He's these muscles for no reason if he's not doing anything to get them.
He plays basketball.
Oh, okay. Right, unless he's training. I'm just like, this is insane.
He plays basketball and he lifts girls. So
And he lifts and he dances at night.
yeah.
Right? Like they go boogie. So like all that stuff though, I can't get into them. But I did really like, there were a couple of the dance sequences I really, really liked. And then like, I would say an hour into it, 50 minutes into it, I was along for the ride. But it just took me, I was like, okay, Jenna,
Right.
like all your eye roll and your shitty boyfriend and just God.
I am so excited because I feel like Jenna Dewan's character, like juxtaposed against our next movie that we're gonna do for this, So You Think You Can Dance. Like they are so interestingly similar, but also very dissimilar in that they're kind of like in the other movie, the one the lead actor is described as like kind of a coward, and I was like, yeah, I kind of get that from Jenna also, but she's not. I don't know. The story is centered around Channing, so I mean, she's not completely cowardice. So we're just going to assume that she does all of her empowering shit off screen.
Yeah, because she really like. I mean, yeah,
she's sad, but she's like type A. Yeah, but
no, I will tell you, no one type A would have let him just hop on right before her most important fucking dance sequence of her entire career.
Yeah.
Like I get it, and it's for the movie, but I was like, oh no fucking way.
No, 12 years. 12 years of dance training. And I'm going to let you scoot on in at the very last minute? No.
That was crazy. But that's why it was his story.
Yeah.
Right? Because like, no way if this were her story would she have even been able to make that decision.
Yeah.
It just would not.
At the end of the day, what did she learn is to just loosen up and, you know, maybe like keep an ear to the I'm doing air quotes, the streets for inspiration. And I was like, you're just like promoting plagiarism or okay.
It was that, I mean, but either way, and I gotta say though, why don't you tell sorry. You asked me and I started, why are we talking, what's the movie about? What's the movie about?
Guys, there's just so much here. Like, there's just so
much. There's a lot of material.
Long movie. It was like 2 hours, like solidly 2 hours, which was like a
hour and a half.
How did I sit through this as a youngin? Like 90 minutes.
Oh my god.
Hour 52, something like that. Hour.
Yeah, you're right.
But basically, the story of Step Up is Tyler Gage, who is Channing Tatum's character, receives the opportunity of a lifetime after vandalizing a performing arts school, giving him the chance to earn a scholarship and dance with an up-and-coming dancer named Nora, who is Jenna Dewan. And so this is the movie. This is, to me, the Fast and Furious version of a dance movie. And it really makes sense if you get my personality at all, why I also love Step Up the same amount as I love Fast and the Furious. I love these movies so much because they just keep making them and they just keep raising the stakes and then they keep fucking nailing it. So there's like 6 different Step Up movies. So Channing's out after this one, but they follow kind of the life and story of his little sister character. What is her name? She's like a real dancer. She's a very interesting YouTube channel. So if you just want to go on a deep dive and like check out Allison Stoner's YouTube, but she's got some interesting stuff. Yeah, she's got interesting stuff about growing up in Hollywood and you know, that affects those effects on her mental health. I do watch her channel a little bit. It's newish. But she's popped up every now and again talking about like her experience in Hollywood and how hard that actually is. But yeah, so we follow her character and her friends through the rest of the series. There's some other like really great dancers like Twitch. If you are familiar with So You Think You Can Dance, /Ellen, Twitch. I think his wife is also in one of the Step Ups also. But yeah, it's just like all about dance culture. It's so fun. I really think that this is the whole reason why the show So You Think You Can Dance was created. So not only is
because of Step Up.
I think so. There wasn't. I mean, all of these. I'm going to credit Step Up for the phenomenon of what is that show with the old people and they dance and they learn cha cha and then they like do that with other people on on ABC. And they're like, oh my god, the Paso Doble, and I was like, is this still amazing? We know what that is. Like at this point. What is it with like washed up ish celebrities dance and they learn like salsa and I'd never
Dancing with the Stars?
Dancing with the Stars. Yes.
Oh my god, hilarious. Also, old people learning the cha-cha. I just pictured elderly people, but now I see what you mean.
Well, just like celebrities who are like, I don't know. Or football players. They're like, oh yeah, the agility work from my football training career is really coming in handy. And I was like, is it?
I'm dying.
Okay.
I'm dying.
Yeah, this is the movie that launched 1,000 enterprises that have entertained me for a solid 14 years, 15 years. And so thank you, Step Up. I just want to say thank you. You've done a community service.
It did. It did. I mean, you gotta just tell them what the synopsis of this is. Because it's ludicrous.
I mean, that was pretty much it. Like, I mean, it's a fish out of water story. So we get Channing Tatum, who is Tyler Gage, which is just like such a great.
Yeah, you did. I'm sorry, you did. You know why I asked that is because when I looked at the Amazon Prime synopsis, it was like a juvenile delinquent sentenced to community service at a school for the performing arts, where he unexpectedly discovers his talent for dance. And I was like, really?
That couldn't be accurate because he's dancing in the very first scene. So
he's dancing in the streets. He's having dance sequences of his own. The unexpected, I was like, stop your business. He knows he's good at dancing. That is ridiculous. Anyways.
I agree. He knew he was talented just like he knows he's good looking.
I was like, God, so he's just like, oh, I'm ugly and can't dance.
Yeah.
Really? It's the opposite.
Yeah, it's entirely the opposite. But
you just need different clothes. And he never wears tights. He never gives in at all.
He doesn't
at all.
But there are for the purposes of SFL, we can't focus all of our time on Channing Tatum, even though
I know. I'm sorry. He just takes up so much
He does. And I still, like, you know, as another aside, like, I just remember the first time I saw Channing Tatum, which was in Coach Carter. And I was like, who the fuck is on my screen right now? I didn't expect this. Sam Jackson, stop talking, back to Channing. That's how I felt on the inside. And also, I just remember crying in that movie because all sports movies make me cry. And I'm really excited that we're going to do a series on sports movies, and I'll just gauge for you how much I cried in all of these movies, because I cried every single sports related.
Are you gonna Tyler Gage? How much you cry?
You're real funny.
0 to 20. Tyler Gage. Maybe that's why that's his name. Shit. All right, let's figure out Jenna's character, how she relates to Channing.
Yeah, so Jenna is like our type A-ish overachiever type. And so she comes into the picture after Tyler and his foster friends. Or no, they're not foster kids. They're just like
foster friends.
What?
Oh my God, I've just never heard that.
Oh. I was like, isn't that how they know each other? They go to school. I guess they like run cars together. So
I think they live I think they live close to each other in the neighborhood. They may even be in the same like subsidized housing complex.
Yeah.
It's unclear because like then the other character from the dance place comes in, you know, and he lives in like another complex near there, and
Yeah.
and just kind of assumes Channing is from there because he's working with Channing. There's all these like weird things, but I think they know each other from the neighborhood.
Yeah, I think there's a scene where they address their mom, so they're not foster kids. Just Channing is a foster child.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, so they are at a party in the beginning, and Channing is just overachieving all over the place, dancing with people's girls, which you would probably never happen. Like, you're going to what I'm going to assume is an industry party for him, like other people who are in the same line of work as him, as in running cars, and you're just dancing on girls. That would never happen. Okay, but
seems dangerous.
Seems like a totally, and like, how do you not know that that's his girl? Like, whose house is this? Who invited you? This doesn't make sense to me, but I'm going to let it go because, he's our fish out of water. He's not supposed to belong to the streets, even though he's seemingly from the streets.
he he's seeming, well, we don't know his backstory. We don't get it at all. And what, he's the fish out of water because he's white?
Yes.
Like that's yes. Truly the only defining characteristic that's different from him.
Why do you think he gets 200 hours of community service? That's like a year. That's a solid year. I would have just like, can you send me to jail for a couple of days? Because I'm not doing this for an entire year. Like, no. Is there an option? Can I go to jail?
200 hours is a year?
Well, 8 hours. You can only do like between like, he starts at 2, so I'm assuming it's between 2 and 5 or 2 and 6 p.m. when the building closes. So you're doing 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. That would take you an entire year to get through.
Oh my God.
Or more.
I thought it was just an all day, but really.
I don't know. Maybe he works weekends. It was unclear.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the time. I don't know when the building opens or closes.
Let's do the math, guys. Let's assume it's 5 hours. No.
Yeah, I guess you can't do like a full day of community service every day because he probably has to like
go to his own high school. Like, shouldn't you be?
Oh yeah, he does have his own school. Very, very true. But
or he's just some dance savant, and they've just graduated him out, and then he's just.
But typical fish out of water, white guy in a black neighborhood. Like, I mean, it's just like so ridiculous. Anyways, so there it is.
Absolutely ridiculous. And it just has like Save the Last Dance vibes where it's like, oh, now a white girl has to go to a black school and that's her fish out of a water scenario. Like, oh, nothing makes sense anymore because
I love, like, I mean, I do think, yes, we need to not pretend that there isn't color. Like, yeah. I get that, but like, it's just the way that it's done is just so unawares. It's like so ridiculous and so simple.
Yes.
Oh, there's no nuance. It's just, good God. Anyways, so yeah, all right. So he's dancing, and they're skinny. So got skinny.
Yes, skinny and that belt with the scroll of his name. I was like, I remember people having that and thinking even then that was a douchey thing to have.
Do it for skinny. Just do it for skinny.
But skinny, yeah. Ugh, God bless him.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Skinny. Yeah, so he gets in trouble. He's dancing with some guy's girl. The guy gets mad because why wouldn't he? And so they have to leave the party in a rush because the guy's coming after him. He pulls a gun on him. I was like, man, y'all are really, really staying at this party a long time. I would have left as soon as that guy's like, that's my girl. I'm like, oh, cool, I'm gone.
Yeah, and it seemed like they knew, that I'm guessing, and I don't know this for sure, but is that the same guy that killed Skinny?
Oh, I don't know.
And I don't know for sure, but it seems like they sort of know that these guys are sort of dangerous. So, like, why are you guys fucking around so much? Unless you're going to meet them, like, exactly where they're at.
I don't know. I thought that was, like, a weird flex of privilege to be like, I'm the only white guy here. So I was like, is this an attempt at male Karening?
Privilege flex.
I was like, what's happening? Do you not think you can catch these hands? Like, I'm so confused.
Oh my God, I love that privilege flex.
And like
We need to make that.
didn't work out, so they're on the run. They're throwing garbage at Skinny in an alley, and I was like, what poor person fun. Like, so good.
We don't have toys, but we do make the best of it. We're gonna have a good night. We're gonna throw trash at my friend's little brother, and then we're gonna run, and then we're just going to destroy, like not just like push over something. And I did light vandalism. I participated in light vandalism as a child. Like I get
like breaking in places.
Not breaking in, but like ruining things that weren't mine to ruin. You know, or like, you know, throwing eggs at a restaurant, at mailboxes, at houses, at people on the street.
What kind of like drive-by situation were you in Ohio? Like this is traumatic. This is jarring for me. I can't imagine someone throwing an egg at me from the
from the car.
Child doing it? I'm assuming you're a child throwing eggs at people. I would have been like traumatized. Completely traumatized. Like,
I was like 16.
What? You didn't know the people you were throwing the eggs at?
No.
Funny prank to be like, oh, prank wars between like two groups of friends, or just random egg throwing.
That's what I mean. It is random egg throwing, and that's why I understand like just that weird urge to just like be real shitty.
Wow.
Like, I did that a couple of times, but I will tell you, I'm not proud of it. And we did pull up into like a Denny's at one point, and I went to use the bathroom, and I mean, it was right around the time that we hit someone, and I don't know what the chances are, but like this person didn't know who I was, but it was one of the people that we had egged. And they came out, and I just heard them talking like, what the fuck? I just had an egg thrown at me while I'm walking. And it landed, I would aim for their feet, like the sidewalk near their feet, so that it would just kind of more of a like, ta-da! It was terrible. I opened mailboxes and threw eggs inside of mailboxes, fucked up mail. Like this was all in one night. Can I just let this be? Actually, 2 nights. One, I egged a restaurant. That was a separate night with a friend. And then this one was another night. So yeah, and it is so, looking at it now, I'm like, what a stupid piece of shit you were. Like, that is so bad. And if someone would have gotten hurt, like maybe because of where I was from and my own privilege, I wouldn't have ended up in juvie. But let's say someone really seriously got hurt, like that's the kind of thing that can, that's when you land in a detention center. Like, I mean, ridiculous. I couldn't have just gone and spray painted something. It was totally an asshole move. So when I watched this, I felt myself judging them, and then I was like, I'm gonna hold it back for a second.
I just feel like that type of random acts of like, not violence, but like of like that type of randomness would like sear into the back of my head to be like, who was that? Why would they do this? Like 20 years from now, I'd be talking.
You're looking at it.
Like, what? I didn't even do anything. Like, was I like in the wrong place at the wrong time? But I was just on the sidewalk. Like, I was in my own home.
You're looking at it. This is the face. This is the face of someone that did that. They went on and they made something of themselves. But I will be honest, I mean, there's a very good chance I got away with it because of my privilege, being in the neighborhood that I'm in, maybe like cops not making as big of a deal or taking the time to like find us. I mean, but I'd also been taken to the police station before, like I was gonna toilet paper a friend's house, and it was after curfew, and I went into the convenience store to get toilet paper, and when I came out, my friend's car was gone. And so I just went and hid like next to this like tree/bush thing in the parking lot. Like in the middle, there was a little area where there were trees and bushes. And then I got up, I saw my friend's car, and I ran to the car, and then 3 cop cars surrounded us. So that night, they had nothing to do because they took us all to the station. They separated us, questioned us, and took us all to the station. And we all came up with different stories when we could have just had our first story, which was the real one. But instead, we're, 16, like, it was this person's birthday. Oh no, it was this person. We made up someone's birthday. I don't know. We all lied. And here's privilege. Here is absolute privilege. My friend and I, this seemed cute at the time, not cute now, looking at this from having a little more wisdom. We asked the cop if he would cuff us. We might as well do it because we're getting into the car. That's a 16-year-old white girl who knows that she's going to go to the station, and what are they going to do? Like, it's curfew. They might write me a ticket or something. Like, I wasn't scared. Let's just put it that way. I was not. But then again, curfew isn't that big of a deal. So, like, legally. So that's part of the reason I really wasn't scared is I'm like, okay. Like, you going to keep me overnight? Yeah. Like, because I'm out at, like, 9 p.m.? But, yeah. Ridiculous, right? Like, I mean, what an asshole. Just an asshole all around. Just an asshole. So that you're looking at the person that's doing that shit to you. They're now gouacheing.
Ohio listeners, if you're listening and you're in Ohio and you may have been egged, if you want to come on and talk about your experience being egged or egging someone, we welcome you. Hit us up on the social medias, and we'd love to have you on. Talk about, it's just a joint, like a therapy, an open air therapy session, and you want to just like, come on.
Let me know if there was a time in, let's say late 90s, like 99, if you got hit on Lorraine Avenue, on the west side of Cleveland near a Denny's, let me know. You can come in, you can tell me, we can do this face to face. I will apologize.
I'm just like, for me, the randomness, like, if you, like, to do that, like, to, like, a friend's house, like, TPing a friend's house, cool. Like, even, like, throwing eggs at, like, people you know, like, fine, I'm good with that. Just the randomness, like, if someone, the randomness, how dare you? I am just a tax-paying Clevelander.
It started, someone randomly got me. Like, I think that's how the idea got in my head is I was at a movie theater and this person yelled, like, hey, I have a question for you. They were in a car and they were young, like they were around my age. And so I ran over to the window and I was like, yeah. And they just got me like point blank with a super soaker. And I mean, that's like a little less, destructive, but like it may have, I don't know if that happened before or after. If it happened after, I deserved it. If it happened before, it may have given me an idea. Might have planted the seed. Can you imagine it's a dude? It's like, hey, wait, do I know you? And I was like, what? He was like, just got me.
Yeah, I can 100% picture that one happening. That sounds familiar. Like, I don't think this happened to me, but I've definitely known something like that to happen.
Oh. I just had to take it a little further. I just had to up the game. Anyways, privilege on privilege. And here they are. They're like, that's active destruction inside, like destroying a place inside. That takes a lot of I had never quite done anything like that. They're roughing it up. At first it was just something fell and I was like, oh shit, that would have been enough to scare me and I would have run. But they were like, no!
Well, let's double down and go in through the window that we broke in order to like continue to destroy the school. And then I loved the security guy who, like, what did he think was happening? Because they destroyed the entire set before he even showed up.
I know, like, he was outside having a cig. You know it.
Probably. Or I'm just
that's
like,
fine.
What is honestly happening?
Rent a cop. Come on, man. And he knows his privilege also because he's putting himself he's getting his friends out of there. So there seems to be like a little bit of awareness.
Yeah, but
there.
that's him using his privilege for good. He knows that if his friends get caught, they're going to get much harsher sentences.
Right.
Wind up in juvie or something. Who knows if they have previous charges? He was being a okay friend right then.
Yeah, he was using it for good there. Thank you, Channing.
Channing. But that is how we find that's how Tyler gets to this performing arts high school full of who we perceive at first glance to be like uppity rich kids who only care about ballet, and their older adult boyfriends, and so blah blah blah. So Jenna Dewan's character, what is her name?
Nora. Terrible. Nora. She is not a Nora.
Not at all. It's
not a Nora. I don't know what that was to attempt.
Yeah.
Like, what the point of that was. Like, Nora is someone that looks like me. It's not someone, like, it just in terms of it's an Irish name. It's not for Jenna. It's not for Jenna.
I don't know anything really about Baltimore besides that fact that it's very scary. But are there a lot of Irish people in Baltimore? I would assume so, just because of immigration patterns. But because they make a reference to his character, Channing's character, being Irish, so I just assume that there are just a lot of Irish people in Baltimore.
You know what? You're right. Maybe she is Irish, but she doesn't. It's not fair. She can't be Irish and have that beautiful skin. She needs to be a little more pale. Oh. I don't think it's fair. I don't want her to. You can't look like that, be tan like that.
She was oddly tan for, just in comparison to the rest of the cast. I was like, you are very tan throughout this entire thing. She must be from LA or something. But
I'm just trying to do a girl next door thing with her, and I just don't buy it with her. She doesn't have a girl next door look. She has a sexy, sexed up sort of like sex kitten look. It's her face. She can't help it. I think her face is that of a sex kitten.
I didn't get sex kitten from her.
Really?
No.
I don't know why.
I mean, I don't know much about Jenna Dewan other than this role in Step Up, and then I know she did The Witches of East End. Again, where I think she I don't know, maybe she's projecting that. It's just not connecting for me.
No, it's me. I have something on my ass about Jenna and Channing. Don't worry.
No, I just think I don't know if she's, because her dancing is phenomenal. Like she's
wow.
But yeah, I was getting like type A kind of nerdy, like I wouldn't invite her to a party just by like
No, we wouldn't have been friends.
Yeah. Channing is invited, but they meet because Jenna Dewan's character is practicing for this senior recital that is make it or break it. If she doesn't get into a college of the performing arts or get picked up as a dancer by one of these schools that are coming, then she has to go to regular university. Those are the stakes.
Wait, regular? You mean Cornell?
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that we're clear here. Yeah, those are some. I mean, it's her dream, and I get that, but yeah, the stakes are not that big.
And you can't major in dance at Cornell.
Yeah, I know. She wants to just start working though. She doesn't want to go to a school, and then I'm kind of like, okay, so if worse comes to worse, then major in dance at the school, at the amazing school that you're going to go to. Like, I'm confused.
And I was like, isn't Juilliard a university and a performing arts college? Like, don't they have to take real courses?
Maybe it is part of the thing where she's not allowed to major in dance or something. Maybe that it was unclear. They didn't make it clear. So the stakes seem like nothing.
Yeah, I want to be a rich parent. I want to hold things like this over my children's head. Like, nah, no dreams for you. It's going to be all academics. Like, I want to be unsupportive of their dreams and just like, so they work hard. Seems like that was the mom's take on things. He's like, if I support you at the minimum, which is acknowledge your presence when you walk into a room, then you will be so good at whatever your curriculars are.
I love that. No dreams for you.
Nope. So Jenna and Channing are dancing and flirting, but Jenna has this mean boyfriend who's totally and won't give up his dreams in order to help her with his. Or he won't give up his dream so that he can help her with her dream. And so we're supposed to, again, feel like he's this bad guy, and he's got blonde hair, and he looks like a mean person. He has an okay singing voice. I remember that guy from like Disney Channel movies. Like, so
sure, he looks very, very familiar. He has a very familiar, like, cute mean boy face.
Yeah.
He's a little too pretty. I'm kind of like, sort of like Channing. I'm just sort of like,
yeah, but this was also, I think, around the time that Justin Timberlake released that Future Loves and whatever it's called, the one that he did with Timbaland, and that album was banging. I really feel like it came out the summer of 2006, but I could be wrong because that was like 14 years ago, so sorry. But yeah, he was giving me like Justin Timberlake's early 2000 vibes.
Great call.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. This meanie boyfriend, because we're all working on our projects. And what? You're not going to step up and help me? What? It's only for a couple of weeks. You need the final last weeks where you're all putting together your final projects. It looks like you guys are spending a lot of time on the routine.
Yeah.
And like, it's this idea of love that like is so fascinating to me, and that's in these romantic movies where it's like love is never putting yourself first. Like, love is just, no, you don't get to say, I mean, granted, it wouldn't be that interesting of a movie if you just had like healthy boundaries and was like, listen. And he established it.
Maybe it would be such a revelation on screen to be like, no, I said no, and I'd like for you to respect my no and stop trying to guilt trip me.
Yeah, or even like, you know what, I understand. I would like to help you. I can help you maybe just for like the next 2 or 3 practices, as long as you get someone to take up after that. That's as far as I can go. Like, or some sort of like
a compromise. Another novel idea is that a compromise, could have salvaged your relationship.
But I guess establishing, and he did, he was painted to be a prick, and I didn't like him in this, and so mission accomplished. But like, I don't know how much healthy boundaries really make for like a good step up movie, but it was just very like, he's so terrible. Oh, look, this guy's got nothing to do. Channing, like.
He's just standing there changing light bulbs, staring aggressively at me. Like, you'd blink. Like, come on. If it was the real world and there was a Channing, like, janitor just following you around a school, just like, this would not be okay. You're so lucky you look the way you do, because anyone else would be like, hey, security, can you get him?
And there's his pretty boy privilege, also his white privilege and his pretty boy privilege, which is a thing, because like instantly the girls are like, who is that? Who's our new janitor? He's so hot. And like, that doesn't happen at a school because there's clearly class divides, and maybe not as much, like maybe there they give out a lot of scholarships, which is awesome. So maybe they're slightly more aware, but I don't think so. I don't think everyone advertises that they came on scholarship when they go to a school. So I don't know how much those kids know, but like at my all-girl, like Catholic school, which I, considered a privilege that I was able to go to, it was a great school. We weren't like checking out the people who were cleaning. I don't buy that her and her friends would have been ogling him. Like, I just don't buy it. No. But he does have pretty boy privilege, so it might be because of the way he looks and only that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty boy privilege, which I don't know, because he is just a pretty boy, so that's fine. But I think where we meet Jenna's friend, who is what is her name? Drew Sidora. So her name is Lucy Avila in the movie, but in real life it's Drew Sidora, and I now know that she is on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So look at that, full circle.
Oh my God, I'm gonna look her up right now.
Yeah, she's super cute. And I remember Drew Sidora from this time period, and she had a couple songs that were like, okay. And then she fell off the face of the earth and now has reemerged on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So that was my pop culture tidbit of the day. You are all welcome that I done pop culture research now. Full circle, full service podcast co-host. I don't know anything about her time on the show. I assume it's gone well. I mean, I haven't heard anything bad about her.
I wouldn't have even known that was her. Wow. Fascinating. Okay.
Yeah, but I liked her in the movie. She's kind of saying again, I guess this would be a black girl privilege. I'm gonna go ahead and call it black girl privilege that at least on film you can say whatever you want. And there's really no consequence. I mean, I guess that's kind of in real life also, but mostly in film. Because she's constantly calling out what the audience would be thinking, like, that man is gorgeous. Like, why are we not just addressing the obvious elephant in the room is that this man is a specimen. Like, wow. Let's not act like we don't see that. Like, let's just what? But then she's like oblivious in kind of her own relationship with her much older lead singing boyfriend. I'm assuming they're like 17 in this, supposed to be 17. So
are they supposed to be? Okay.
They're seniors. Or at least it's a senior showcase.
True.
Maybe they're juniors. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It is a senior showcase.
Yeah. So I'm like, how old is this dude? Because Mario, Miles, who is the musician, Mario, calls it out and he's like, that man, that's an old ass man, or like, you know, saying something about like, oh, like not like you'll be together until he catches charges. And I'm like, how old is this dude, the British guy? So yeah, Channing and Jenna are dance partners because her original partner Andrew hurts himself dancing, I'm assuming. And so Channing is filling in. And so Jenna, there's this montage of Channing learning dances, taking ballet with this very like type A little girl who's just like, you're doing it wrong, which I assume is Nina from Black Swan, just like 20 years in the past or the future, and like some Inception things happening, but I'm positive that that's her.
I get it.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah, stay tuned for next week and then you'll totally get that reference and go back and you'll be like, Tessa was right. But it's all culminating in this big final dance performance. So Jenna's whole career and life outside of Cornell is on the line, and then Channing needs to prove himself that he can be dependable, that he's learned from his mistakes. He's like going to be true to his identity as both a person from quote unquote, again, air quotes, the streets, and and also a dancer, and he can merge those identities and still be truthful to both his upbringing and who he wants to be. And then they come together at the very last minute, do an epic dance at the very end, when the dance is very good, guys. If you don't watch the whole movie, just, YouTube The Last Dance from Step Up. It's still, I think it holds up. It's a quality dance.
It's a great dance.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. And the music is great.
Yeah.
The music that they used for the final dance.
I really liked it. But here on SFL, we don't just get to love movies.
We don't get to just love them.
No, we want to answer our questions. Are Hollywood deciding who's a strong female lead, and are they getting it right? And we like to apply our SFL criteria, being, is the lead character top billed? Does that character move or impact the plot? And does the character have agency? You'd think that by what is this episode 70, I would have those things memorized. I just will never. I can't. Guys, I will forget this conversation immediately after having it.
It is like the first time every time. It really is. And so whenever people say practice makes perfect, I mean, we've done this a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we're not like Jenna Dewan, like 13 years in, but hopefully one day.
Oh, yes. Yes.
A Channing Tatum like person will come in and just shake our worlds up.
I would be dying. I would die if we're doing this as super old ladies. It would really, really crack me up. It would be a great show.
Oh my god, I feel like for our 100th episode, we should do Golden Girls. We should just watch Golden Girls and just be like, how did they get it so right in like 1985? And then for
They did.
Hollywood has amnesia just like we do.
They got it right.
Yeah,
For sure.
Golden Girls.
Okay. So really the only character who has any potential is Nora. So what do you think?
She is top billed. Her name appears on the poster, and she is the leading actress. So, check.
Mm-hmm.
Does the character move the plot forward?
She has agency. But does she move it forward?
Yeah, she decides to move forward, even without both her partners eventually leave her. Channing is a quitter and a coward, and he's like, blah. And then Andrew re-injures his leg. So she's like, I'm going to do it by myself, just how I started, just how I entered the world. But there's this whole thing about, like, the plot.
Yeah. I don't think her specifically. I think any attractive dancer that needed a partner
I think she
would have done it.
Motion. She gets it in motion because Channing wouldn't have become a dancer if she didn't need a partner. Like, he was already like content being a quote unquote street dancer.
Just don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
But he had that, and so he would have never joined the senior performance or let dance become something more than a hobby without her. But I don't know that moves anything. It's the inciting events, but I don't know if it goes past that, like, because he leaves her twice. Or he quits. Like, one time he stands her up, and then Andrew comes back. Would be the second time where he's like, I'm done with dance. I'm out of here.
Right. Yeah, I think it's more the inciting incident.
Yeah.
Because
why he's doing it, but she doesn't pull him forward, pull us forward. Her doesn't.
She doesn't, man. For me, she's not an SFL. She doesn't meet all three.
Yeah. I'd like to give her like a tiny hat. She got 2 out of 3.
For sure.
Tiny hat, a little SFL fascinator.
It just wasn't her story.
It's not her story.
Wasn't her story.
But the one nice thing about the Step Up series is that it does vacillate between it being the male dancer story and the female dancer story. So in the next movie, it's more focused on a new lead character who is also a female. So, guys, if you're disappointed that Nora...
I'll make sure to watch that. Just kidding.
I just love these huge franchise movies. The dancing does get better from movie to movie. So, like, if you were impressed at all by the dancing in Step Up, just wait until the water dance in, like, movie 4 or 5. There's a character called Moose, and he is everything. And Allison Stoner's back, and she's a fantastic dancer, and you've already watched her YouTube channel, so now you're even more interested, and you want to see her as a child and grow up on screen. So I just know you guys. So that's what you're going to
do. What do you think this movie is saying about femininity and masculinity? I think the man comes in to save the day, but somehow finds himself saved in the process. I don't know what that tells me.
That's extremely accurate. I don't know. I'm trying to think of, like, there's 2 female characters with, like, dialogue with somewhat of a backstory, which would be Nora and her friend Lucy, who have very different approaches to relationships. I don't know. Lucy's an interesting character because while she's very vocal about what Nora should be doing, she's very um, conservative, I'm going to say, about what she should be doing in her own life and own relationships. She's obviously got that DJ guy, Mario, who's like obviously like in love with her, but she's dating the older guy who treats her badly and cheats on her and very consumed with the image. I don't know that this says much of anything about femininity specifically. Maybe masculinity.
Yeah, I don't really have, I mean, everyone sort of fell into stereotypical roles.
Mhm.
So if other than that, right, like stereotypical male roles and female roles, I didn't really see like any messaging
Yeah.
other than just kind of acceptance that that's what the role is.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are like moments where there's like a wink and a nod towards, um, masculinity entering a feminine space and having that just be okay. Like, there's never a time where the feminine energy enters a masculine space, but there is room for masculine energy to enter a female space. Like, just looking at that scene where Channing is doing ballet, and he's like I think that's the only time he wears tights. The only time he like fully commits to I am a dancer and this is dance. Which
I mean, yeah, they're saying that men, you can be masculine and a man and be a dancer too. So now I have to ask you, is this a case of Swayze? Now I know Channing has no Swayze, right? But is this a case of masculine energy dancer? Is this? I mean, we don't like it. He's tropey.
of a Swayze. Does he deserve a Swayze?
I don't think so. But he's the other version of Wrong Side of the Tracks. It's a more modern version of it. It's not like a hickey from Kanicki's, like a Hallmark card, like kind of version. Like some Grease version, you know what I mean? Like it's a different race related type of version, but it's still like a modern, other side of the tracks story. So I'm just wondering if in his own way he dropped into Swayze.
I think he did. I think he does a good job. I'm sure. I mean, Swayze is just a high bar. I mean, it's a high bar.
It's a high bar. Maybe there's different levels. He doesn't do it as well.
Yeah, I'm like, does he ever talk about how his emotions? Does he ask for things directly from Jenna? And I'm like, Swayze did both in
yes.
What is the movie called?
Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing. All like a everything that went through my mind said Footloose, and I was like, that's not right. But yes,
but he's obstinate, right? He's obstinate. And they don't. I mean, we don't get anywhere with their relationship in Step Up. We can kind of assume maybe they end up together, but like we don't see any actual like emotions between them. But coming in, and this might be the closest thing we have is Channing Tatum dancing as the male lead, because he's dancing his own way.
Yeah.
He's bringing his own flavor, which is annoying at times because I'm like, will you just do it the way that she wants you to? But then eventually, like, his version works out really well for the final piece. So I get it. Yeah. And then everyone has to dress like him. Oh, did you see that? I was like, stop. Now we've made it a uniform? I hate him.
Yeah.
But
I kind of think that Channing is Baby's character instead of Swayze. I think he's a much more convincing Baby. And Jenna is Swayze.
But he's teaching her to dance as much as she's teaching him, in a way. She's teaching him her routine, but he's showing her another side of dance. Like, baby didn't have any moves going in, right?
Yeah, but baby had the access that would change his life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. But yeah, for sure. I don't know. It's just, it's something to ponder.
Yeah.
Something to ponder.
Yeah. What do you think? Who is the baby? Who is the Swayze? Does Channing even deserve a Swayze? I mean, that is a high bar.
And it could be a thank you for participating Swayze trophy. Like, and not even a ribbon, right? Like, it can be something very, but I do think there's masculine energy dance happening. That's all I can tell.
Yes, I agree. I 100% agree that there's definitely masculinity in his dance, in his performance, that transforms Jenna's piece and gets them both into dance college.
And I just have to point out, because it annoyed me when he did it, when he jumped up and he bails on her and then comes back right before she's about to go on stage and is like, I'll do it with you, which then changes what everyone's got to be ready. Everyone's totally cool with changing the routine. That pisses me off, but I know it's because it's his story. And I don't even know if we recorded that we talked about how we were annoyed about that. I think it was before we started recording. So that annoyed me, but then that's one thing for him to do that. But then the other, to be like, I just wanted it to be the way you always imagined. Bullshit. You knew it was an audition also. You fucking knew it. You knew it. You're not stupid. You knew that the woman was watching. You knew all that was happening. It was just as much for you. I would like for at least an acknowledgement that this will help both of us. Because that's fine. Yeah. But fuck you. Fuck you for acting like you were just trying to save her. What a little dick. That just, it really boiled me. Got me crazy. I don't even know what boiling me means, but it just really pissed me off. And I knew she was going to go along with it, but like, fine, it worked out.
Oh, I agree. 100%. I was like, stop trying to act like you're being
all martyrer
and coming back here. You saw that there's still a little window open for you to get into this dance school and change your life, and you took it, which is the right quote unquote thing to do. I would have done the same thing. Yes. But we don't need to pass it off as though like, oh, I'm only here for you, baby. Like, come on now.
It was such bullshit, especially since the last conversation he had with his friend was about how they could be doing better. Doing better for themselves. Do it for Skinny. Fuck off. Not only did you know, as an audience, we knew that you knew. So that is some bullshit to end it on.
Do it for Skinny.
Oh my God. I was just like, anyways, okay, but it worked out for everyone. So
yeah.
Guys, doesn't matter.
That's the episode. I loved it. Tricia, what would you rate this movie? If you had to give it a rating.
2 out of 5. And I enjoyed it. I did. I'll never watch it again. I'll never watch the other ones.
What? Oh, too bad.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Sorry.
You're missing out.
I know.
I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 5. I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 pirouettes. Just really fast ones. I like this movie a lot. I do think that they progressively get better. If you just are like a fan of dance and you just want to see more dance, you've probably already seen these or at least clips of the dances from the show. But yeah, it's a good time. I mean, you're not going to learn anything. No one's life has been changed or altered unless you didn't know that you could be a dancer. Anyone can dance. This is for everyone. If old people can do it on ABC, then so can you.
But what this movie does is pose the question, so you think you can dance? I mean, maybe you can, and maybe it's your way out.
Yeah.
You're, out of the home with your terrible foster father. But only if you look like Channing and you dance like Channing. So remember, there are limitations.
There are.
Okay.
They are.
Oh my God, you guys, please find us on Instagram. We're at Strong Female Pod.
Yes, and tweet at us. We're at SFL_Chicago on Twitter. We're always open to suggestions. We've got some great suggestions for upcoming little series we're going to do, like sports movies so I can cry the whole time. We're going to do something for Pride Month. But yeah, if there's something you want to see, something you want us to talk about, or if you want to guest on the pod, you want to come on the pod, tweet at us, hit us up on Instagram, and we will see if we can work something out.
And we will make a decision. I'm like, is she going to say, we're going to have you on? I'm like, wait. And we will, we'll think about it. Yeah. But we will think about it.
You got to make sure you're not a robot or like crazy. And then, we'll see.
Ooh, we should do that. We should have an "Are you a robot" sort of thing worked into our Instagram. Have people pick out all the street lights, which I always end up fucking up. I end up not seeing something, and I end up having to do it. And I'm like, I'm not a robot. I'm just stupid.
Mine is the crosswalk. Mine is a crosswalk because you're like, how many blocks? I mean, technically, like, there's a little bit of the crosswalk in this one, but like, does that count? Should I do that one too? Like.
Great point. If there's like a bit, like just a sliver of a crosswalk, I'm like, are they really expect that's what's going to tell them about a robot? Like, maybe I just don't know. Maybe I overthink everything.
Yeah,
like,
ask
fuck
me
off.
a question. Like, ask me, like, when is Britney Spears' birthday? For some reason, I feel like it's December 27th or December 3rd, one of those.
Yeah, ask me. Well, no, because you could be a robot and just have Google as your brain. You could find that shit out.
That's true. This could all be an Ex Machina Jacob Ladder scenario where we're all just stuck inside a little Russian doll of the Matrix. So.
Well, remember to rate, review, and subscribe, guys. I think that's it.
Guys, have a good one.
All right. Bye.
Surprised it didn't cut us off. I thought it was going to cut us off.